Hello everybody, welcome back to my workshop, welcome back to my garage. Just want to remind everybody that the Great Guitar Build-Off has started. Sign up started a couple weeks ago. We've been asked not to post any official videos until 1 April, so keep an eye on the channel for that. Please click like and subscribe. You'll be able to follow me through my Great Guitar Build-Off build. I am doing a scratch build this year. Right now I'm going through all my selections for wood, what I'm going to use for body wood, top wood, neck blank, as well as fretboard. So please click like and subscribe. Keep caught up with that. Now we'll get rolling on the video as far as carving in these neck heels. This is going to be a relatively short video, just basically going over getting the neck heels done on the guitars. Here's the first one. I've got the neck heel nice and sculpted in, right down into the body. Got the took a little bit off the body here as well to sculpt it in, as well as blended the neck heel in. It came out very nice on this one. And here's the second one. Again, this one came out very nice as well. Very nice heel joint on that. This one, the neck heel was a little shallower, so I had to take a little bit more off the body, but it came out really nice. I've also final sanded these, or pretty much final sanded these down to 320 front and back. I've got to do some grain fill on both of them because I am considering doing a lacquer finish on this, so I want a smoother finish. Both the guitars are going to get dyed finishes on the top. I haven't decided fully on what kind of colors I'm going to use yet, but I'll be playing around with that on some scrap samples, and that'll keep coming up in the next video. So what we're going to do to start the carving process is, right now I left the neck heel a little bit bigger and not really conformed to what the body was doing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to blend this area together. That way it's all one piece, and that way when I start to sculpt this area, it'll all just flow together without having to worry about hitting the neck a little bit harder than I'm hitting the body. That way it'll all be together and go as one. So the first thing to do is get this neck carved in to meet the contour of the body. To do that, I'm just going to be using a combination of Japanese files, flat files, round files, more of a conical file. And then if I need to get a little bit more aggressive on it, I can use my Shinto rasp as well. But with just this little bit of material on the neck, I think the Japanese files are going to be just perfect for that. So let's get going on that. Alright, well this one's blended in pretty nice. Just a little bit of final sanding to do. And basically I've sanded right down to 80 grit just to kind of help me shape a little bit. And then after I make sure the shape is finalized, and I'm pretty sure that's it, because that feels pretty comfortable on the hand as it goes up in there. It's nice and contoured in. A little bit more smooth in here, I think, but that'll come as I'm sanding from 80 grit down to 120 and then to 220 for final sanding of the body. But I think that's a really nice neck joint right there. It allows me access all the way up to my upper frets. Of course, I'll flip it up into the other position to make sure, more in a playing position to make sure, but this is nice and smoothed in. I think that's going to look really good. Alright, it's time to start laying out for the bridge and placing the bridge. So what I've done is I've made sure I've measured from my nut down the length of the guitar. This is a 25.5 inch scale. So what I've done is I marked the piece right here, cut the tape, drew a line, extended. I put the tape there just so I could draw an extra line, but I've got the line all the way extended, 25.5 inch scale. I have double checked at my 12th fret. I am 12 3/4, and then from my 12th fret to the mark there, it's also 12 3/4. So I know I've got all the scale length right as far as fret placement and the position on the neck. What I've also done is I've laid down a straight edge down the side of the neck, and I've traced lines down the length of the body. This way I know that I've got the width of my neck, or the taper as it comes through. So I've transferred that down to the body portion there. I'm using a Schaller roller bridge for this. 6 independent saddles. It loads from the back, so there's no string through. So basically all I've got to do is get this bridge positioned and mounted. So what I've done is I've kind of backed these off and set all the saddles in the neutral position, kind of in the middle. That way I've got room to go forward and also room to go back to make sure I've got the intonation set up properly. And this one actually has a pretty good swing on it. It goes about 1/4 of an inch each way. So I know what I've done is I've centered it. I've got my center line drawn. All I have to do now is lay that down, make sure that my center line for the scale length is right perpendicular to the saddles. But what I'm also going to do is I've got my gauge here, and I'm going to set this at the back, and I'm going to set it on the center line. And then when I set this on the center line, let me zoom in for that. So what I'm doing is I'm lining this up. I've got my bridge set in position, in kind of a loose position for it. And then I'm going to take my gauge here, I'm going to line it up on the center line to make sure my center line goes through, and then run that up to the back of the bridge. And now what I can do is I can move this bridge from side to side to make sure that I have the right spacing as far as how I want the bridge to be spaced. That way it's going to be centered along the center line of the guitar. So right now I've pretty much got everything in place ready to drill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark my center hole here. Just double check, make sure everything's still good. That old adage, measure twice, cut once, comes to play. Got my center marked, pretty even straight across. So what I'm going to do now is get ready to set up and drill. So what I've done is I've got the 2 outer saddles removed. That way I've got access to all 3 of my holes. One thing that is really nice about this bridge, these rollers right here, you can adjust them from side to side. That way you can make sure your string spacing, you can adjust your string spacing all the way through. It does come radiused already to a 12 radius with bevels and everything on this. This is a really nice bridge from Schaller. So what I'm going to do is I've got my first hole position marked, and I've got a piece of tape set on my drill for the depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drill this first hole. Now that I've got that first hole drilled, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to mount my bridge with the center screw. I'm not going to tighten it, I'm going to snug it to where I can still move the bridge a little bit from side to side. Keep the bridge centered, that way I don't scratch up the wood surface. There we go. Snugged it just a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, again, lay my protractor down here, making sure that I'm still centered. And what I want to do is I want to just check and make sure that based on the center line of the guitar, that my bridge stays centered or is square to that. Alright, so I've got it set up. I've checked my lines, I'm still good. Alright, and that first hole was right where it should be. It didn't deviate from side to side any. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take the drill bit that I used to mark before, because this is a brad point bit and it's got a good center on it, and I'm going to drill my next 2 holes. But I'm going to take the bridge off to do that. Look like it's going to line up really nice. Can put all 3 screws in now just to make sure everything's good. All right, bridge is installed. Just do a double check, make sure everything stayed straight when I did it. That actually looks pretty good. So we should be good to go. That's one done. Let's go to the other one. All right, bridge is installed. Centering still good. Here we go, bridge is installed. So, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like to say thank you very much for tuning in and keeping up with what I'm doing. If you like what I'm doing, please click like and subscribe. Leave comments below if there's something you'd like to see, if there's something that I might be able to do a little bit better, something that you've got a best practice in. I'd really love to hear it. So, until next time, take care.